And okay.
I'm gonna have, looking for 2 ounces.
Nice.
0.9.
Okay.
2 ounces. There we got it. Okay. Now I think we're ready to start.
So,
Okay.
hi everybody. I'm Lylah. Welcome to my farmhouse kitchen, and this is Marie. She's one of the most amazing women who has a passion to not only do homesteading, but to teach women some of the things that you need to know when you're homesteading.
Lost skills.
Lost skills, right? So I've been saving my eggs. They're fresh eggs. They're all clean. They're not washed from the chickens, and I did not know how to preserve them or what
Water
do you
glass.
water glass them.
Water glassing eggs.
Okay.
These will store easily 1 year,
Wow.
maybe 18 months, depends.
Who'd have thought that we could do this?
Yeah, super easy, a lost skill we hardly ever see anymore. I learned it, I do it, I live by it. So
That's what I love about you. You don't just talk about things, you actually live it.
yeah, we do.
I'm grateful. So, what do we have here?
Okay, so to begin with, we will start with absolutely clean eggs. No feathers, no poop, no sawdust, no straw.
No nothing.
No nothing.
Happy
absolutely
eggs.
clean.
Okay.
Yes, happy eggs. So, got all those set aside. We've got 2 quarts of water in this jar. So 2 quarts of water, and then we use 2 ounces of hydrating lime. We use pickling lime.
Is this a good brand?
This is the brand I use, so I will call it the best.
The good, okay,
The
sounds
good stuff. Could be on the pricey side. Some people use hydrated lime from Home Depot, used to make cement.
Oh.
So I don't. I'd rather do a food grade just for safety.
Oh, good.
So,
didn't know that.
Pickling lime.
Okay.
That's what we use.
Okay.
So we have 2 quarts of water, and to the 2 quarts of water, we're going to add 2 ounces of pickling lime. So the ratio, 1 quart of water, 1 ounce of pickling lime. We've got 2 quarts, so we're going to have 2 ounces.
And you weighed it precisely?
Precisely.
Okay, good.
Put that in.
I've heard some people wear a mask sometimes with this stuff, but...
Yeah, it's pretty floofy, very light, very drying also.
Okay,
and I think
do I
that's
stir
probably why. And you're going to want to stir it up.
Okay.
So I like to keep stirring it till you see no clumps of anything.
Okay.
So it's all liquid. And it will typically, it'll look great, it'll be milky, and then everything will settle down to the bottom. And you have a, excuse me, little layer of the hydrated lime on the bottom that has not actually, it's oversaturated the water. So what's left over sinks to the bottom. So we have a little
And that's okay.
thing, and that's okay. Yes, that's completely
I
normal.
breathed some in.
Oh,
That's
did you?
because, well, my head's above it, so
Yeah.
I gotta scoot back.
So maybe
Is that
a
good right
mask
there?
would be, yeah, that looks good.
Am I good? Okay.
Yep.
And then,
Yep. So there's our water. Now we're going to submerge the eggs. The bottom layer, they're not going to be able to be pointy down. You know, pointy down.
right,
Okay.
right.
So
Explain pointy down and why.
pointy down.
On
so,
any time you store eggs.
because then that puts the bubble up here, and it's better for the not the constitution.
But it stays
It's
fresher
better for
longer.
the egg. Yes.
Right.
Yes. So, but the bottom ones you can't. So they kind of lay down, and then you stack the rest
Okay.
pointy side down. So we are going to just start putting eggs in. Want to check them, make sure they're absolutely clean,
They're
which
happy.
these are. And down
Okay.
it goes. And that's got a little something. We're going to put that one there.
Thank you for check, check, recheck.
Yes. And another important thing, I've seen people do this in 5-gallon buckets.
Wow.
My first year I did 5-gallon buckets, but the weight of the eggs can crack the bottom eggs. And then you have, when you open it a year later, it smells like it's been there a year.
A year.
So you basically lose it. So I use this. I can see if there's a cracked egg. I check mine like every couple weeks. Check my jars if there's something that doesn't look right. The water is milky looking. I take all the clean ones out, start a whole new jar.
with the clean ones, and then start fresh.
And start fresh.
How long have you been storing or water glass?
Water glassing, yes.
Water glassing eggs.
I'm gonna say 5 years.
Wow.
Because Emma was 5, I learned at her baby shower how to do it.
That's
So,
amazing.
So 6 years. She'll be 6 in December.
So you're looking at each egg, you're inspecting them, making sure they're
Looking
happy,
good.
and then you're setting them down very gently.
Mm-hmm. And then over the course of time, this will all settle, and it'll be clear water on top, and then the settled hydrated lime on the bottom.
Got it.
Take these, which one? Okay, looks good.
And then I will put the lid on. And you said we can put about 30 eggs in
About
here?
30 eggs fit in a 1 gallon glass jar.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Give or take. I marked my first 2 jars, they were both 30,
Uh-huh.
and so that's what I go
Okay,
on. So you
okay,
can kind of
that's
have
good
an
to
idea
know.
what it is.
What are some other lost skills you think that women need to learn?
Oh my goodness. Sourdough.
Making sourdough
Yeah,
bread.
so we don't have to buy yeast.
Yeah.
Sourdough scares me.
Uh-huh.
Whoops. Okay, here is an egg that floated. This egg is no good.
Wow.
We will toss.
Okay, here, I'll take her and
Yeah.
I'm going to,
There you go. Yep, no one else is floating. That would indicate an older egg.
which is interesting. Okay, good. Okay, so sourdough and
Oh gosh, canning.
Canning.
Fermenting, we have so lost fermenting.
we need to do
And
a
that
workshop
takes
on
nothing, yes.
fermenting.
Yes, that takes whatever you're gonna ferment. If we're gonna ferment broccoli,
Uh-huh.
I do like beets and carrots, onions. All it takes is your vegetable or fruit, water, and salt. And if you have whey. And that's it, and that will be good for months.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the next time I make cheese, I'll make Chev, and actually I'm milking Hope. She's giving just shy of a half a gallon still.
Oh, wow.
Every morning, once a day milking. Like, amazing.
Oh.
And so when I make Chev, then there's whey left over.
Right.
And we could use that whey
To ferment.
to ferment.
Vegetables, yes.
I am embarrassed to say I have never fermented anything like that in my life. I mean, I make kefir, so that's maybe a form of
Cultured, that's cultured
Cultured,
milk.
okay.
Yeah, and that's super good. Kefir's outstanding.
I love
For your-
kefir.
Your gut, yeah.
So I like how you're gently putting them in, and then you're being observant of one of the eggs, not
the float.
not
yeah.
being obedient and going
Right.
straight down, but doing the float thing. Yeah, that one wasn't quite a 10.
That's a real pointy egg.
In the beginning, when the girls started laying, and they were born in January. We got them as a couple days old in January, and they in the beginning, a lot of them just started laying double yolks.
Oh, awesome.
So what I've done with our extra eggs, because our farm is a 501c3 crowd-funded nonprofit, there are so many partners that have become friends of the farm and donate monthly. So a friend of the farm is someone that donates monthly. And by the way, Marie is one of the women on my board of directors, just so you should know. So grateful for her.
I'm gonna pass on
So
that
that's
one,
not a
'cause I'm not
10.
exactly sure.
Okay, and so I just wanted to say thank you to those that believe in what we're doing and contribute monthly, partner with us monthly as friends of the farm. And so I do perks. And one of the perks are those that are in sort of maybe a closer community. Not a 10, I could see. I'll give them, here's a half a dozen of eggs, just to say thank you.
It feels too rough.
So if it feels too rough.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's too porous. So the reason we use fresh eggs, when an egg is laid, if you see it exit the hen's vent, it will be wet.
Right.
That wet is called bloom,
Bloom?
and that bloom makes this egg not permeable. That's why
so
we
amazing. We can use them.
Yes. Once the bloom is gone, if we were to put a washed egg in this, we would have an egg that's full of hydrated lime. Instead of preserving it, it's gonna absorb it.
That'd be horrible.
That would be awful. So anything that's porous,
Yeah.
I don't, just because
Yeah.
even though the bloom is on it,
Yeah.
I just like to be safer than sorry.
I thank you for sharing that. That's good. So when we pivoted to the Simple Farm nonprofit, our heart was to create a culture,
Another floating.
A culture at the farm that would be to have soul renovation, connecting people to God and to each other and to nature, and as well reclaiming some of the lost skills. So we're reclaiming, sharing with you a lost skill.
And this is handy because where we are, I don't know how your egg laying cycle goes. We're up in northern Arizona. It's getting cold. We've already had a frost.
Wow.
And our girls are slowing down their egg production. They're booming in the spring and most of the summer, booming to the point where we can't eat them all. So then we preserve them like this, and when, certainly by the end of this month, they'll be slowing down to maybe 3 eggs a day. I have 10 hens.
You have 10, right?
And so we get like anywhere from 8 to 10 eggs a day right now. They're
But
gonna
it'll
slow
slow
down,
down. Well,
and then there's not enough for us.
And then they're supposed to slow down. That's nature.
Yes,
I mean, I have
yes.
never put lights out there to
No.
force my girls to lay eggs, because it's like to honor that sacred cycle. And so
That's
how
a good way,
we
right.
don't honor those sacred cycles either. So 6 days you work, 1 day you Sabbath, you rest, so the body can rest. It's like you're gardening. You don't always plant every year the same thing in the same raised bed because it needs to rest. Anyway, so what are you planting up in your garden? What are you,
right now,
because you're in little cold.
we're planting for cool weather. So the broccolis and all my greens, collards, a couple types of kale, Swiss chard, spinach.
And you do by seed?
I do all my stuff by seed.
Yeah.
Whether it's start inside early and put out once they're big, like tomatoes in the spring. I start my tomatoes the middle of February in my sunny window, and then at the end of May they're in good size, and I put them out in the ground. But right now it's cool stuff. So the broccoli, celery is in. Turnips can go in, carrots can go in, beets can go in, the root vegetables, peas are wonderful for the winter. So that's what's in now. And then everything that's dying, zucchini, winter squashes are all being pulled in. Zucchinis are pretty done. Tomatoes, we had a kind of an odd summer. My tomato plants didn't set fruit till too late, so I have thousands of hard green tomatoes, which I won't be able to harvest and can, because there wasn't enough of the proper temperature for them.
See, down here in the Phoenix Valley, we have a double dip of 3 different seasons.
Nice.
But I'll be honest, I long for cooler seasons and cooler weather.
Yeah, in the cool where we are, where it freezes and snows and that cycle.
Yeah.
There's something in the air when you feel that first crisp fall morning, which we've already had, almost time to hunker down.
See?
Get out the puzzles, get out the books.
See, there you go.
Get out the candles and
That's that rhythm.
It is the rhythm. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, and I
it.
think another lost skill or art is to observe and notice those rhythms and see how they affect us. So I read, this woman was talking about autumn, fall, how we always say, oh, it's getting cooler, the leaves are changing, but she said, but there's something even more important, which resonated with me. It's the light is getting softer, because we have the bright light of the sun, and all of a sudden autumn brings a soft light, and I went, that's so true. Maybe that's why so many of us, we love the autumn, we love the fall.
Oh, my absolute favorite.
Favorite
Time of the year. I love, because it's just before we hunker down. And on a normal year, I'd have tomatoes to be pulling in every day and canning, every single day. Canning. This year I don't. So it's going to be a little bit different. But it is that cyclical cycle.
Speaking of canning, I had the mother of all canners, and I looked at it and I decided, it made me nervous, and I decided to sell it. And then I actually bought camera equipment. So,
Okay.
but the only thing I've canned is jams and jelly.
Oh.
And I've used not the water bath, but the oven method of canning. Oh,
I've
so
never
good.
heard of it.
so this is interesting. I thought we'd have like a army, enough to feed an army of eggs, but you're really got the eye to see.
No, yeah, you don't want anything on it, really. I mean,
Oh, this one has something right there. I noticed right by your.
let's see, is that, yeah, that is.
Something.
Sometimes that'll be part of the egg, not always though.
Yeah. So teaching gardening, teaching homesteading skills. What are some other things that moms could?
Well, this is going to be a very opinionated thing.
I like it. Bring it on.
Teaching women to stay home more,
Yeah.
enjoy their kids, enjoy
Yeah.
what they have,
Yeah.
provide the way we can for our family. We ended up, because Scott got sick,
Mhm.
so we went from a good living to no living overnight.
Mhm.
And so my dad, in all his wisdom, you could either go get a job, which I wasn't going to do. I couldn't leave my husband with 3 homeschool kids.
No.
Or cut your expenses. So we cut our expenses, and I learned how to do all this stuff. Canning I was raised with,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
not bread making.
No.
No, not fermenting, certainly not. And not preserving eggs, that's for sure. So
I love this. I'm so grateful that you would give me this gift and give anybody out there who's watching this video the gift of not only 2 women that are older women conversing and sharing their hearts and the things that they want to deposit into younger women, but also teaching me how to do this. This is so cool.
So you will want, once it's done,
Mhm.
you want about 1 inch above the last egg. You don't want any of the eggs poking up over the top, because
Right.
they'll get dry.
And we're close.
So we are very close.
Do you want to stop or you want to try one
I'm
more?
gonna try, I think this one, well, let me check that and check it good enough, will fit there.
Mhm.
And let's see, well, there's a little scratchy thing. Ah, love these blue eggs.
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah.
The Easter eggers.
Yeah.
They're not good producers, but they
No,
sure
they're not.
make pretty eggs.
Mhm.
What breed do you have of hens?
We have the Americanas,
Americana,
which
yeah.
do the green eggs.
Uh-huh.
We have barred rocks,
Mm-hmm.
and we have, I think what's in the other pen, oh, the sex linked. And they're
Yes.
the absolute
Yes.
best layers.
I have sex links
Absolute.
out there and
Yeah.
some buff Orpingtons.
Those I don't have right now.
Buffs?
We had a terrible problem with skunks this year.
Oh.
And so we had 13 hens, and we're down in that one pen, and we're down to 5.
What happened? How did a skunk?
They dig underneath.
They dig underneath.
And they come, and then I won't give the gory details. But
How
it's-
do you preserve when they're digging underneath into your?
You get a husband out there. And if you don't have a husband, you got to get out there and just weed lined it with cinder blocks.
The
So they
peripheral
can't get
of
the whole
so
peripheral.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the only way to keep them out.
Yeah.
They can also climb a fence, so we do have our
The top
the
cover.
run is covered, so
Mhm.
they can't get in.
Mhm.
But they're merciless, and once one finds out, they go and tell all their friends. So we've trapped 3 skunk this year. My neighbor trapped 9.
Whoa.
They're in our neighborhood, but they're going into hibernation now, so we're very happy. So
See, there's their rhythm.
yes, yeah. Let's see, maybe 2 more.
And then you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking with what I'm looking at here and here. Now, we'll just call this one good,
Mhm.
and we won't do these, and I'll wait for a few more days
Right,
until
right.
I can get the whole thing going.
Yeah, or you can add them daily also. Like I go out to the coop,
Oh.
check my eggs, add 2 or 3 at a time.
Oh, so I could then put those in.
You can,
start
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah, you can
Well,
start it.
maybe
You
we will
wanna
do
do
that.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll close this off, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the link below
The
or
comments below.
or comments below. But what would be one
Here.
last thing you'd want to encourage homesteaders, homeschool moms, wives, women out there?
You could do it. I wasn't raised this way. The only thing I was raised with was canning tomatoes.
Mhm.
We would go down to the farms in South San Diego. The farmer would call my grandpa.
Mhm.
We'd go down with the truck and glean the fields, bring them home and can tomatoes. That's all I was raised with.
I love it.
And then out of necessity, I was gonna stay home with my kids, doggone it. I wasn't going to work.
No,
So
I love you.
I love you. Oh, I think I'm getting it all
Thank
over
you. Oh, it doesn't matter. All right, thank you.